And welcome into Elevation 5280 Sports and Lifestyles Full Court Press. We are here for NBA Finals, Matt. Game 5 pregame show right here on E5280 Sports and Lifestyle, E5280sports.com. Follow us on all of the socials as well. And that is Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. Like and subscribe, all of that. As well, you can follow Matt at Matt Mascarenas1 on the Twitter machine and at Michael Spillin on also the Twitter machine. And like and subscribe our YouTube page at 5280 Sports Radio. Same handle for Twitter and Elevation 5280 Sports and Lifestyle on Instagram and Facebook. Matt, it is game day. It's been a long time since we last spoke, about 16 hours or so.
Yeah,
we are here.
It's not too long ago.
Yeah, pre-gaming for game number 5, and we didn't see the Nuggets and Heat in action since Friday. And between games 3 and 4, it'll be the only 2 games, Matt, that they'll have a day off, just one day off in between. The rest going forward. Hopefully, it is not going forward after tonight. They'll have 2 days in between. I am ashamed and sad that I am not going to be there in person to hopefully see the team lift the Larry O'Brien, but it'll be sweet nonetheless. Going to go to a local establishment, Matt, and take in the atmosphere there. So it should be a fun night if all things goes well. First question right off the bat, Matt, what do the Heat have to do to win this game? Game number 5. And keep in mind, Tyler Hero is playing tonight.
Saw that. I think Jimmy Butler has to have a Milwaukee type of game night tonight, like a Milwaukee series, like the game that he had. What game was it? Game 5 that he went off for like 50 or something. It was something crazy. Jimmy Butler has to have a game like that. Bam Adebayo has to keep doing what he's doing, averaging into that 20, 22, 23, 24 type range. He's got to do something like that. Caleb Martin, that's the thing now is who does that sit? Does that, is Hero going to come off the bench? I don't know. I was watching some video of him shooting around today. I don't know if the shot is there. That's one thing. I don't know how much he's going to contribute. He's going to draw some attention, but I don't know how much he's going to actually contribute. That's yet to be seen. He could come out and just go crazy and shoot lights out, and really, really light a fire under this Miami Heat team. But like I was saying, we'll see what that looks like. I don't know if he's going to come off the bench or if he's going to start. We'll see what that looks like tonight. But other than going down the lines of what I was saying, Jimmy Butler has to go off. Adebayo has to keep doing what he's doing. You have to get more than 2 points from between Gabe Vincent and Max Strus. You have to have almost a close to the way they shot the last time that we were here in Denver and they won. So you have to look at the last time that we were here, the Heat could hang their hat on and say, hey, we won the last game we were here. So there's ways you can look at that to muster up any kind of, I don't know, magical fairy dust. I don't know what else you can sprinkle right now, but if it's going to be a nearly 100% perfect game from everybody on the Heat for them to win this game tonight. I don't think the Nuggets are going to be unlocked. They're going to be locked in.
Yeah, and I tend to agree. And this is not only this series, Matt, but these playoffs have always been a tale of the role player. And we touched on it on our show yesterday, Matt. The Wheelhouse, catch it at live 8:30 right here, 8 o'clock right here on Elevation 5280 Sports and Lifestyle. We talked on it yesterday, Matt. Aaron Gordon and Bruce Brown are considered what? Role players.
Right.
Now, they combined for 48 points in game 4. And your big guys for Miami, obviously you are going to look at who's the 2 best players on the Heat, and that would be Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo. I don't want to speak for everyone and be presumptuous, but that's what most people are going to answer with when you talk about the big 2 for Miami. They only combined for 45. When you're thinking, 2 Denver players combined for 48 to lead all duos or all combos, you're like, oh, it's obviously Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic. Nope. And this was a game, man, where Jokic struggled with fouls. He went out with about 9.5. It was in between 9.5, 10 minutes to go in the fourth. Didn't come back till 4 minutes left in the fourth, and the Nuggets lead at 5 at that point, grew up to 9. So they treaded water nicely, and they kept the ship afloat. And again, like we touched on yesterday, everyone talks about those non-Jokic minutes, and the role players have to step up, and they've been doing so for the Nuggets. And also we talked about if the Heat want to win this one, just like you mentioned in Game 2, Heat hit 17 three-pointers in Game 2. And we always talk about the Heat live and die by the three.
Yep.
They hit 17. And, again, I don't have the number in front of me. I should have pulled it up. In Game 3, Matt, they only hit 11. And I think Game 4, they only hit 7, I want to say. I could be mistaken. But, I mean, they obviously will just shoot the heck out of the basketball, Matt. And if they're not hitting threes, then good luck, because they don't really – and we touched on this even before the series even started, Matt. They do not want to bang inside. They do not want to be physical. They out-physical the Nuggets in Game 2 because I think they saw that the Nuggets were just kind of coasting, and they're like, oh, I guess we can get into the paint a little bit here. But besides that, yeah, they only hit 8 for 25 in Game 4, Matt, 3-point attempts for the Miami Heat. So if they want to beat the Nuggets, Matt, they got to be – I would put the over-under being a loss 15. They had got to hit 15 or more threes to even have a chance. And think about it. They hit 17 threes in Game 2, Matt, and only won by 3.
Right. The Nuggets still had a chance to win the game. And you look at Game 4, as far as from the Miami perspective, if you look at the stat line, and they out rebounded the Nuggets, I believe, or they were right there with the Nuggets in that game. And that was something that people were pointing to that the Miami Heat needed to do in order to beat the Nuggets. Well, they did it. You mentioned Joker. He was out of the game with 9 minutes left and with foul trouble, and we didn't know when he was going to come back in, if there was going to be a lot of time for the Heat to really do some things, and they couldn't do it. Everything that they wanted to happen happened. You had Jamal that didn't go off, Joker that didn't go off. He was out of the game, and they still lost. So even when they do everything right, like you or the things that they needed to do in order to give themselves a chance to win a basketball game, they still lose by double digits, or they're still with an opportunity. The Nuggets still have an opportunity to tie the game like they did in Game 2. So it's just so hard to find the silver lining. And like I said yesterday, going into that I think the first quarter is going to tell us a lot, because just to the attitude and the mindset of where these guys are. If these guys are missing shots or the Nuggets are running up on them, I'm looking for the body expression and stuff like that. I think that all that you can't count them out. You can't count they're always going to be. I think that we can tonight. I'm not saying that we're going to count them out. I think they're going to show up and try to do their best and try to give it a good go. But I don't think that we can count on that heart and that grit being there tonight, just because they've been through so much, and to go through everything I just laid out, and there's just so much that what I saw on the post game on Friday night, and then what I've been hearing and watching up until now. I just think that they're looking to be put out of their misery, and I hope the Nuggets do it at some point tonight.
I heard a stat too, and this is why I don't really want to count out the Heat as well. I heard a stat too, Matt, but number 2, how about this? Number 2 in playoff series, Jimmy Butler ranks only behind LeBron James for points per game in an elimination game at 28, almost 29 points per game in elimination games. So what does that tell you? That tells me that their leader don't quit.
Right.
And so I don't know. Jimmy hasn't really reached those heights in this series. They've done a pretty good job. I think his high in this series was 28, and I think that was game 3 when they lost. So that kind of tells you that the leader doesn't quit. Bam needs to have I'm going to put his over-under, Matt, at 22. He needs to have a 22-plus point night. He needs to have a 15-rebound-plus night. Jimmy's got to get at least 25 or more. and the role guys. It's always been about role guys, Matt. And again, we touched on Aaron. We've had an Aaron Gordon / Bruce Brown game.
Mm-hmm.
Who saw that Christian Brown game coming? 15 points in 19 minutes off the bench. I don't think a lot of people saw that. Game 3 was obviously the Murray Jokic show, in which they both have 30-point triple doubles. First time ever that's ever happened. Not only in a playoff series, Matt, but an NBA game period that two teammates have combined for a 30-point triple. Think of all the thousands of games that have been played, Matt. Nobody's ever done that before. And when does it happen? On the biggest stage for the Denver Nuggets. Two guys get 30-point triple doubles. Game 1, whose show was that, Matt? I mean, that was kind of a mixture. Obviously, Nikola had a triple double in Game 1. And say what you will about Game 2. I don't know whose game you can consider that. I guess it was the shooting game for Miami finally woke up. So we'll see. And I think that I don't know what kind of X factor or whatever you want to call that Tyler Hero is going to play. Is he going to be the hero?
Right.
You know, pun intended for his last name. Is he going to be that guy to step in and make shots? I think it was Vic Lombardi, Matt, from Altitude, saying he was at practice yesterday, and he said, honestly, it didn't look too impressive shooting because he broke his shooting hand.
Right.
So I don't know how you can get that movement. And I get it. It's been, almost 2 months now since he's been out, since that Milwaukee series. So I don't know how good he's going to look. Is he going to start? Is he going to come off the bench? And like you said, whose minutes is he going to take? Honestly, I guess Cody Zeller's minutes. I don't know. You need another big guy in there to spell Bam for a little bit, but I don't know whose minutes he takes because honestly, Duncan Robinson has done fine off the bench.
Right. That's where it's like, it's you don't know what kind of impact he's going to get. I don't believe you can put him out there as a decoy. Even it's not like the Nuggets don't know what he's, it's not like he's got a hamstring, or it's not like he's got an ankle or a foot. It's his freaking shooting hand. So in my experience, anytime you get, I've seen guys have trouble with a nick on their fingernail or a thumb or something like that takes them out of their shooting motion, or that screws up their shot. So this dude had a broken shooting hand. So I just don't know what kind of impact he's going to have, if any. But that's not to say that he couldn't maybe do more around the rim and score. He's dynamic scorer. He can do that stuff. But I think his best, when he's at his best, he's shooting that three, or he's shooting the basketball in general.
So keys for the Heat to win. I think we can wrap this up. They got to make 3-pointers, Matt. They can't be shooting 8 for 25 or 11 for whatever. They shot 17 of 35 in Game 2. I don't know if they can do that again, but again, I think the over-under's got to be 15 plus for the Miami Heat to win this game. And as I mentioned, Jimmy's got to be around the 20, hovering around 25. I think Bam and Jimmy have to combine for probably over 50 points for the Heat to kind of be in this game. Otherwise, we might tell by the third quarter, Matt, that let's just go home. Like, let's just pack this in, get the hell out of here. Go back to the beach or something, because this is just not working. So that's where I am. Is that kind of where you are with Miami? Just make your 3-pointers. What do Bam and Jimmy have to kind of combine to, because we always talk about duos and stuff like that. For the Miami, they live and die by the three. They have to make threes. And I think Bam and Jimmy, your two heads of the snake, I think they have to combine for at least, and that's at least, they have to combine for at least 50 to even have a shot to be in this game.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Jimmy has to have a playoff, a Jimmy Buckets game. He's got to go off. He's got to do what Jimmy Butler can. And I'm not talking about the 24 or 28 points and like, what did he have? Like 14 assists or something crazy that he had in their Game 2 win, where he was more of a distributor and making plays, getting to the free throw line. It's not that. He has to do that plus score the basketball. Plus, like you said, him and Bam got to combine for the majority of their points, because you can't guarantee that you're going to get anything from Gabe Vincent. You can't guarantee you're going to get anything from Max Strus. We've seen him in this series twice already not score points. So they like we said it before, they have to have a perfect shooting game or a perfect game in general. And I just don't know that if they do have that perfect game, I don't see the Nuggets not doing what they need to do. I'm sure we're going to get to that other side here, but I just don't see it happening. I really don't. Outside of what we outlined, they have to shoot lights out from three. Again, everybody has to shoot lights out from three, and you have to have Jimmy and Bam, like you said, combined for that 50 to 60 points, whatever it is. I don't even know if Bam can go that high or score that much, but in this type of a game, but he would have to almost in if the Miami Heat were going to win going away.
Right. And I'm trying to do Jimmy's average in this game. His lowest is 13, and that was game one. And that was just a bad game all around for the Miami Heat. So it's going to be a struggle, I think, for them to keep up that pace that they had in game one. They set the bar really high for themselves in this series. Jimmy's only averaging 17 points in this series, Matt. And that's with a 28, 25, and 23-point performance. What kind of brought him down was that game one, 13 points.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, for Miami to even had a chance in this series, he needs to be above that 20 mark at least, because – and maybe he'll go for that, almost 29 average, where he averages almost 29 a game in elimination games in his playoff career. And I don't know. It's going to be – like I said, I think we're going to tell by the third quarter if Miami's even going to try at this or not, because I think the Nuggets are going to be running all cylinders, Matt. This is to close out. How about this for comparison, though? So I think we talked about it yesterday too. So for those who didn't hear that, and the Avalanche last year, Matt, in their Stanley Cup run went 16-4. Nuggets right now are 15-4.
Right.
And how about this? At one point in the second round for the Avalanche, Matt, it was a 2-2 series. Guess what? Phoenix and Denver were at one point in the second round. 2-2 series.
2-2 series.
How about this? The Avalanche swept the Edmonton Oilers in the Western Conference playoff and the Western Conference Finals. Guess what the Nuggets did? Swept the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals. So that honestly just gave me chills right there.
Yeah, it's eerie.
It is crazy. Not only that, Matt, but they're owned by the same owners. They
Right.
play in the same building, and this is a chance for the Nuggets to cap off a three-peat for the Cronkies, the ownership group for the Avalanche and Nuggets. And I think we talked on that too. The LA Rams won 3 years ago. Cronkies own the LA Rams. The Avalanche won last year. Cronkies own the Habs, and the Cronkies own the Nuggets, which could cap off the three-peat tonight here in local Mountain Time, 6:30. For the Nuggets, Matt, I don't know if the question is what can they do to win. I think that's pretty obvious. I think it's pretty clear now that they're the better team. But what do the Nuggets have to do to, I guess, give this game away for as much as that pains to say? What do they have to do to let this game slip away and Miami steal another one in Denver?
They would have to almost. They would have to play their worst game of the season. And I'm not talking about the playoffs. I'm talking about the entirety of the season. Their worst absolute basketball game that they could play, they would have to play that tonight. And that goes to effort, that goes to defensive adjustments, that goes to scoring the basketball. Joker, Murray, everybody would have to be off tonight. Nobody could make any bad. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm talking like scorched earth, catastrophic collapse for the Nuggets to lose this basketball game tonight. And the reason why I say that is because I don't think that Nikola Jokic is going to let that happen. So I just don't see any way basketball wise that the Miami Heat can come out and do anything different. Outside of, but we discussed the Tyler Hero stuff, him just going off and all that stuff like that. We already went over that, so I'm not going to go back over it. But there's just nothing basketball wise or adjustments that I see the Heat they have tried or they can do. And then another thing too, like we talked about Jimmy Butler's career averages in elimination games. Here's Jamal Murray's career averages in elimination games. 9 of them. In 9 games, he averages 28.3 points, 5.8 assists, and 5.2 rebounds. And I want to say he's 7-2 or something like that in those elimination games. I can't remember 100% sure exactly. I know he lost to the Lakers in that one, and then he lost to the who they ended up losing to, the Trailblazers in their first season. I want to say it was the Trailblazers, or I think that's who it was. But anyway, he's got an outstanding record in elimination games as well. So I think we're going to see lights out Jamal. We're going to see typical Nikola Jokic, and whoever of the role players wants to saddle up and ride with these two guys. But I just don't see, because you have these two at your disposal, especially Nikola Jokic. I just believe so much in that dude, and I don't think that they're going to let what happened in game 2 happen again tonight.
Yeah, and I think they put the stranglehold on, well, I would say the series, but the stranglehold's kind of already on this series. I think they just put it down, Matt, and close this thing out and bring the first NBA title to the city of Denver. And I think for the keys for the Nuggets to maybe let this slip out of their hands tonight, they can't. We talked about you talked about the parallels of Game 2. They just can't be complacent. They can't be lackadaisical. And I think I heard this point today too, and this was a really good point, and I forgot who said it, so excuse me. They, kind of the last couple champions, Matt, they've had that I don't want to say enforcer, but I guess it is an enforcer for lack of a better term. They don't have that Boogie Cousins anymore.
Yeah.
They don't have that Draymond Green. They don't have, insert player name here to kind of call out teammates or call out when things are going out or when things aren't going right. You know who's doing that? Michael Malone. Right. And he did that clear as day after Game 2 and said, why are we talking about effort? There was zero effort on that court tonight. And look what happened. 2 games in Miami, Matt. Two blowouts. I'll put that in quotes as well.
Right.
Nuggets have not lost a game in this playoffs, Matt, by double digits in this entire playoff. In the 4 games that they've lost,
right?
The 2 games they lost to Phoenix were a combined 11 points. They didn't lose a game against the Lakers, obviously, and the game they lost against Miami was 3. And I honestly, I think it was 6 or 7 against Minnesota in that overtime game, or 8 maybe. Yeah. So they have not lost by double digits in this playoff run. Think about that for a second. So it has been it's been special, man. It's been special to witness, to watch. Going to a couple games, especially in this finals, has been awesome. I should have saved my money for this game. So, but I decided I needed a car to get around, so I couldn't go tonight. I almost thought about just going solo dolo, Matt, and just getting one ticket, but
yeah, that could, yeah. I mean, that definitely could check the box of the experience of being there. Yeah, for sure.
But
but it's been definitely funner to do it with one of your bros or your buds or somebody like that.
Yeah, so it would have been cool. 19,000 of your closest friends,
right?
Slap hands. So you got that going. But yeah, I don't think the Nuggets will, for as long as the series goes, and hopefully it doesn't go past tonight. I don't think they'll ever look like they did in Game 2. And we saw that, I don't want to even say stealing 2 games in Miami, man. They absolutely outplayed the Heat in Miami. So I don't know if Spoelstra's tactic of turning the air conditioning off worked, but that's just my keys, man. They just, and I would say that Nikola and Jamal need to step up, but Jamal only had 15 and 12 last game. How about this? In a whole 5 finals games, Matt, Jamal has 10 plus assists. He's been in double digits assists basically this entire series. Jokic, inefficient. I know it's outlandish to say Nikola had a inefficient night, but 8 for 17 last game. That's an inefficient game. Only 4 assists last game too. And usually when he's sub 10 assists, Matt, you're like, what happened there? So it's just they can't get lazy. They can't get complacent. It's going to be a fireball inside that arena. So it's going to be a fun one, Matt, to watch.
I can't wait. And I think I was going to ask you this. I watched I listened to the last 2 on the Nuggets app. Should I watch? Is it okay to watch this one? I think I'm okay to watch this one.
Yeah, maybe just put it on mute and have a cause in the background. Maybe
I think that's the way to go too. I
that's.
was going to do that. Try to time it up. I've done it before where it works out.
I
So
was
yeah, I'm
gonna.
going to give her a go because I think I'm okay. I think I'm okay watching this one.
Did I mention that yesterday during our Wheelhouse show? Did I say, like, I don't know what? Obviously, I went to the watch party on Friday night at Ball Arena,
Mhm.
and they had the ESPN broadcast playing. I was like, why wouldn't they turn that down and have Cos playing over the speakers?
That makes sense. That's what I would do. I don't I mean obviously I don't listen to a lot of other teams broadcast, but in my opinion, Cause is the best. I mean, we the Nuggets have had some really good ones in the past. We talked about Schimmel. We've talked about
Drew Goodman did it for a little
Drew
bit too.
Drew Goodman. Dave Logan was a part of it for a little bit. And I think I'm missing somebody else, but there's there's just a lot of history with the people that call the game, and I don't know if you saw this too, but Kosminski said that he's going to retire when Nikola retires.
You know what's funny? And I was going to say this yesterday, Matt, and it was going to be a hot take Sunday morning in your breakfast burrito. I would not be surprised if Jokic retired after this season.
um,
It would not surprise me one bit. I think he's going to be. I think he's going to do the right thing and play out his contract. But it would not shock me in the slightest if he said, "That's it. Like I got what I came here for. I got my teammates this trophy." He's not going to say this out loud. I've won like I've done
yeah.
everything I needed
What
to
else
do
is he
now.
going to do?
I would not be shocked at all. I know he's going to do the right thing and play out his contract.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. I don't think Nikola is going to sign another contract, whether it's here or somewhere else. Maybe he goes back and plays in Serbia. I don't know, but I do agree with that point. I wouldn't be shocked either if he retired. I was thinking the same thing. Like, what if he wins Finals MVP, or let's say they go back to back? Like, there's even another opportunity. Like, well,
When
we could go. You can keep going for three, but yeah, I agree. Whether or not, whenever it comes down to his contract ending, I don't think he's going to sign another one, and that doesn't mean that he's not going to sign another one with the Nuggets. I just don't. He's done.
when did
I
he
agree
sign
with
that
that.
max? Do you remember when he signed that max?
I don't
Okay, well,
exactly. It was soon. It was sooner than a lot of people thought it should have been. I think, but him
yeah.
and
So
Jamal was around the same time, I believe.
yeah, I don't know when it was, but I want to say he's got at least what 5+ years left on it.
It was a big one. Yep.
So he signed a 5 year. It was a 5 year max, not a 10 year max. So it could be almost over by now, honestly.
It
And
could be.
he only signed it last year, Matt. So he's got
Yeah,
about
he
3
did. That
years
was the
left on
big
it.
because he was available for the
Yeah.
Supermax.
So he's signed through the 27-28 season. So 4 more years, pretty much.
And that's not. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. With you got four more seasons, and it's definitely not out of the question, or not even out of the realm of possibility to even call that a career. That would be a great career.
If he were to retire after, I can't believe we're even talking about this. If
It's
he were to
crazy though,
retire
but
after
I get it.
this,
I get what you're saying.
because he's even come out and said, basketball is not the most important thing in my life. So I don't think it's breaking news that we're saying it, but maybe it's a little outlandish that we're talking about it. Is he a surefire Hall of Famer if he were to retire after this season?
I think so.
8 years?
There's a lot of people that conversation's been going on. Like, where does he move? He moves into the top 10 greatest big man of all time if he wins a championship, and obviously he's probably going to be the Finals MVP. But I think in a lot of people's minds and opinions, he moves into the top 10 and maybe even the top 6. You could look at moving him all the way up to the top 6, a big man. The top 5, he's got to win one more championship. But yeah, I would think he's a surefire Hall of Famer.
I mean, let's face it. And again, the Basketball Hall of Fame is a whole different.
That's
story.
another thing too. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's not the Baseball Hall of Fame. It's not the Football Hall of Fame. I'm not even sure how the Hockey Hall of Fame works, but all of them seem pretty more prestigious than the Basketball Hall of Fame.
Right.
they're letting everybody in. It's not even the NBA Hall of Fame. It's the Naismith National Basketball Hall of Fame. So it encompasses everyone who's ever touched a basketball, coached a team, college, WNBA, what have you.
Right.
So almost everybody gets in. And whether he's a first ballot, which he probably will be, even if he were to call it a career after this season, I mean, they let Greg Popovich in. He's still coaching. So that's what you got. It's not like baseball where you have to get 75% of the vote. It's not like – I know football did an extended one last year because of the COVID issue. So they let – it was like 12 people getting in yet last year. And it'll go back down this year. You know, be more prestigious, you know, four or five guys around that minimum. And now they've opened it up to the old timers. So you have a little bit more, but I mean, take that for what it is. It's the Basketball Hall of Fame.
Correct. And that's the thing that, and because that's the thing that's the debate that's been going on all day today is that, you know, is Joker Hall of Famer? Is he top 10, blah, blah, blah. And another one too, that's been going on is this team going to be a dynasty? And we've kind of touched on it a little bit yesterday a little bit on how this team could just keep getting better, and how the West in particular is going to have to load up and try to have a guy for Joker. So there's that talk is definitely there, and it's warranted. We should have that discussion, definitely, for sure.
And when that time comes around, it'll be good, man. Hopefully we're going to get out of here, as tip-off here is just in a couple of minutes. And hopefully on Thursday, Matt, that's when we if it were to go down tonight, Matt, the parade is on Thursday. I will be down there. I already told them, don't expect me to come in here on Thursday. So hopefully we're all dancing in the streets on Thursday, Matt.
I'll be there ready to go, man.
Will you be down there?
We're planning for it.
All right. Well, we will see you down on the streets of Denver, hopefully on Thursday night. This has been Elevation 5280 Sports and Lifestyles Full Court Press, where we strictly do Nuggets pre- and post-game shows. Catch the post-game show with Dan coming your way at about 9:30 after tonight's game. But that's going to do it for us here on the Full Court Press pregame show. For Matt Mascarenas, I am Michael Spillane. Hopefully we don't see you again for a pregame show. And also Daniel will have a postgame wrap-up article for you on e5280sports.com as well. For Matt Mascarenas, I am Michael Spillane. We will hopefully not see you again.
We'll see you next year.
Yeah, next year. We'll see you there.